I am the Prime Minister of Canada, and my face is painted black on every screen in the country. The photos are from 2001, an Arabian Nights party. I was a teacher. Turban, robes, dark makeup on my skin, my hands, smiling at the camera like it was harmless. It is 2019 now. Federal election weeks away. The images are real. The outrage is real. The word attached to me is racist. I wake up in Rideau Cottage and my phone is already lit with statements drafted by people who no longer look me directly in the eye. Communication staff speak in careful verbs. Acknowledged. Condemned. Regret. No one says shock. No one says hypocrisy. But it hangs in the room anyway. For years, I built a brand around multiculturalism, diversity, inclusion. I stood at podiums and told Canada who we were supposed to be. Now the footage loops beside those speeches. Split screen, then and now. I apologized publicly, more than once. I said the word racist. I said I was deeply sorry. The apology circulates the same way the photos do. Replayed, analyzed, slowed down. The security detail still opens doors for me. Motorcades still stop traffic. When I enter a room, people still stand. Power does not hesitate. It operates on schedule. Briefings continue, trade, climate, intelligence updates. A general outlines Arctic sovereignty concerns while my communications director tracks trending hashtags in the corner of the table. My name spikes every hour. Journalists phrase questions like legal cross-examinations. Colleagues measure their distance in inches. Allies defend me with tight smiles. Opponents don't need to raise their voices. I notice how carefully everyone chooses their words around me, as if I am both fragile and volatile. My reflection in the window of the Parliament buildings looks the same as it did last week. But my name enters every room before I do now. It arrives loaded. It arrives radioactive. And I carry it anyway. 2. I wake before the briefings start. The house is quieter now. Not calm. Managed. Overnight tracking reports are already printed on my desk. Sentiment graphs. Heat maps. My name beside the word racist in 3 languages. The images still lead every story. I am advised not to freelance today. Stay on message, stay remorseful. Do not elaborate. At 8 a.m., I walk into the daily security briefing. Cameras are positioned farther back than usual, but there are more of them. I can feel the calculation in the room. Every frame matters now. Every blink. I open the meeting by deviating from the script. I was wrong, I say again. Not politically wrong. Morally wrong. My communications director stiffens. That phrasing wasn't cleared. Moral language invites theological debate. Philosophical debate. Endless debate. Within minutes, push alerts go out. Trudeau reframes scandal as moral failing. PM deepens admission amid election pressure. I watch my own words fracture in real time. At 9:30, I insist on attending a roundtable with racialized community leaders without limiting press access. Staff recommend a closed-door session. Controlled optics. Select pool reporters. I decline. If I am radioactive, I want it documented. The room is tense but direct. No one raises their voice. They don't have to. They describe fatigue, disappointment. The word hypocrisy lands softly repeatedly. I don't counter it. I say, you're not wrong. By noon, headlines shift. PM agrees. Critics are right. Trudeau concedes hypocrisy claims. Agreement becomes confession. Listening becomes admission of systemic guilt. My silence is interpreted as strategy, my candor as collapse. In question period, the opposition leader does not need to perform outrage. He simply reads my past quotes about inclusion back to me, then places the photo beside them. I answer without pivoting to policy. I did those things I say. They were racist. I am accountable for them. There is a pause in the chamber. It is not respect. It is surprise. Afterward, senior party members request a private meeting. They suggest stronger framing, personal growth narrative, emphasize youth, emphasize context. I remind them I was 29. The room goes quiet. In the afternoon, I call the head of our election campaign. Polling shows erosion but not collapse. Core voters are conflicted, not gone. The instruction is clear: stabilize. Avoid unpredictability. I schedule an unscripted press availability. My staff tries to narrow the topic list in advance. I refuse pre-screened questions. When a reporter asks if I understand why some Canadians question my sincerity, now I don't defend it. I understand, I say. You don't have to believe me. The clip circulates instantly. PM admits credibility problem. Trudeau says Canadians don't have to trust him. By early evening, advisors are visibly alarmed. Markets haven't reacted, but donors are calling. International counterparts are monitoring developments. My office drafts clarifications to statements that were already clear. I notice how quickly institutions move to contain volatility when it's attached to a damaged name. At a previously scheduled cultural event, I am encouraged to keep remarks brief and non-political. Smile, thank hosts, leave. Instead, I speak about power. I still have it, I say. Even today, even after this. There is an audible shift in the room. That sentence will not test well. I continue anyway. And that should concern you more than a photograph. By the time I step off the stage, my team is already negotiating interpretations with producers. Some networks cut the second sentence entirely. Others frame it as defiance. PM warns Canadians about his own power. Trudeau lashes out at critics. I said neither. Back at Rideau Cottage, I review the day's coverage. My words exist, but not intact. Each sentence has been reassembled into something useful to someone else. Apology becomes tactic. Honesty becomes maneuver. Silence becomes guilt. Speech becomes aggression. I understand now that after a scandal, truth is no longer evaluated on content. It is filtered through reputation first. My name arrives before my meaning does. And I know this authority, this access, this microphone is temporary, which is why I keep using it without insulation, not to redeem myself, but to watch in real time how fragile truth becomes when it passes through a damaged mouth. Tomorrow, they will advise restraint again. Tonight, I let the headlines run without correction. 3. It's past midnight when the house finally empties. Advisors leave in clusters. Security rotates, shifts. The lights in the hallway dim automatically, like the building itself is conserving energy after impact. I sit alone at the desk that still carries the authority of the Prime Minister of Canada. The scandal does not fade with the hour. It hums. Every device in the room is a reminder. Notifications muted, not gone. Analysts still parsing my tone. Commentators debating sincerity like it's measurable. Fame, I realize, is not attention. It's surveillance. Every word I chose today will be replayed tomorrow. Not for meaning, for weakness, for leverage. Even silence will be examined for gaps. I felt powerful this morning. Motorcade clearing intersections. Rooms standing when I entered. decisions moving because I nodded. But that power was procedural, automatic. It belonged to the office. The scandal belongs to me. That's the difference. When I spoke unscripted, markets didn't crash. Parliament didn't dissolve. The machinery of government kept moving with mechanical loyalty. But I could feel the perimeter tightening, staff correcting tone, allies recalibrating distance. Every conversation carrying a subtext, "Don't make this worse." Power lets me enter any room in this country. Reputation decides how long I'm allowed to stay there. Tonight, I understand the cost isn't just polling numbers or headlines. It's the permanent negotiation with your own mouth, the calculation before every sentence, the awareness that your past sits beside you at every table. The photographs from 2001 are static, but they move with me. Tomorrow, I step out of this role. The security detail disappears. The motorcade dissolves. The briefings stop arriving at dawn. I return to being no one important, and that transition will be immediate, clean. But for him, for the real man who carries this name, there is no clean edge, no reset. The scandal does not clock out at midnight. It folds into biography, into search results, into introductions. He will continue waking up inside it. It was easy for me to borrow this life for a day, to test its edges, to provoke headlines without inheriting them. I could afford to be slightly reckless. He cannot. Because power, I see now, is uneven. It protects the institution first, the individual second. Sometimes, not at all. And when it recedes, it does so quietly, leaving the name exposed. I look once more at the dark window, reflecting a borrowed face. In the morning I will return to anonymity. He won't. And that difference is the only real power I ever had. Disclaimer: this video is a fictional satirical thought experiment. It does not represent the real thoughts, intentions, beliefs, or private life of Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The narrative is an imagined perspective created for storytelling purposes only. The purpose of this piece is social commentary, exploring themes of fame, scandal power, media framing, and public perception. It is not a biography, not a factual reconstruction of events, and not an accusation of additional wrongdoing.